Adrienne Scheide, lovingly known on campus as Pink Beret Girl, is graduating with majors in human development and psychology. She is the founder of Rural and Small Towns NU, a student organization that supports those who grew up in less populated areas transition into college. During her senior year, Adrienne served as the president of Northwestern College Feminists. Inspired by her own story of survivorship, she founded the Solidarity and Survivorship Collective, a group that has supported over 40 survivors of sexual assault and interpersonal violence find resources and community. Adrienne recently received honors for her thesis entitled, "When Home Becomes a Hospital Room: The Intersection of Caregiver Expectations, Lived Experience, and Child Interactions During Extended Hospital Stays," where she interviewed parents of pediatric cancer patients and identified recommendations for hospitals and social networks to better support cancer caregivers. After graduation, she will be working at a clinic to provide therapeutic services for children with autism. She plans to apply to graduate school to further her goal of helping children navigate unique and challenging circumstances. Please join me in welcoming Adrienne Scheide.
Before I start, I would just like to thank the Northwestern community for making me feel so incredibly welcomed here. You have no idea how much of a difference it has made in my life. I would also really like to thank my friends and family who could be here today, especially my parents. Surprise! You are missing the first page of your program, if you haven't realized that yet. Hi. My name is Adrienne Scheide. I'm 22. If you haven't figured it out already, I go to Northwestern University, or did go to Northwestern University. I grew up in a small town in central Wisconsin. My parents, who fought for my education here, especially my mom, housed the family catering business in my home, my basement, the commercial kitchen, the upstairs, my mom's office. I couldn't have been older than 10, but I would often walk into the room while my mom was working, and hopefully it wasn't too much of an interruption, but we'd talk. In particular, she'd read a poster on her wall titled "How to Build a Community." I will not have time to go over all 43 items on that poster with the approximate 7 minutes I have left. But I'd like to share some of the most important lessons that poster taught me that were put to the test when I came to Northwestern, and some pieces of advice that could be carried into the next phase of our lives. The first 2 lines of that poster that stick out to me go together. Ask for help, but also help carry something heavy. Certainly, I think we can all think of a time when we needed help. If we're sticking with CESP, maybe it was asking for an extension. I have asked for a lot of extensions. Or sending a late-night panic email. I unfortunately learned about schedule send far too late into college, so I've sent a lot of those. Asking for help is a beautiful thing. To have the strength and courage to communicate your needs, to take that step in forming connections with others, to know that you are worthy of support. I was granted those extensions. My emails were replied to. I have been offered the kindness and generosity of so many of my friends here and by CESP faculty. But asking for help is not an act that comes easy, and my experiences do not necessarily represent us all. Who or what teaches us that asking for help is okay? Because I know that in many ways, asking for help at Northwestern can be hard. Sometimes the deadlines are set in stone. I don't think I would be fully recognizing the experience and hard work of our class if I didn't say that. What helped me learn how to ask for help at Northwestern, what helped me learn that I and you all are deserving of care and support, wasn't the moment I received help after asking for it. It was the people that offered me help without having to ask, those who helped me carry something heavy. Professors in CESP who took the time to ask me how I was doing or offer me a kind word, or one professor who very kindly took one look at me walking into class and said, "Go home." Which is admittedly a little funny because I didn't think I looked that busted. But in seriousness, to be offered that break, that accommodation, knowing that I wasn't feeling well, is what told me this is someone who cares. This is someone who would help me if I asked for it. And I'm not saying that every person has to prove that to you before you ask for help. Please do ask, even if you're not sure about the reaction. But what I am saying is find those communities and be that person who will be there when you know it's hard. I have been so lucky to find that here in CESP, but also in my friends at Northwestern, to have found people who visited me when I was out of class without a second thought. And when I came back, had decorated my dorm room for my birthday. Once you have that, recognize that those are the type of people in your life that you deserve. And no matter how big the weight is, it is one worth carrying together. Another piece of advice on that poster is look up when you're walking. Obviously not in the literal sense in the context of a graduation speech, but that's good too. Two things. First, time goes by fast, except for when it feels like it's kind of not. However, regardless, don't wait to stop and look up at or appreciate, or however you want to say it. I am so lucky to be here where so many opportunities presented themselves that I had to learn how to appreciate the moment, to recognize that there are things and places and people that you love, because tomorrow things will be a little different for us. We don't know what we'll lose or what we'll gain. But the beautiful thing about change is the certainty that you can change as well. No moment, no person, no one's perception of you defines you. You define you. Look up when you walk. Have trust in yourself during uncertainty, but appreciate the certainty of the moment while it is here. Take the time to tell the people who have carried you through here that you appreciate them and that you care while we're still together. Finally, the last line on that poster read, "Know that no one is silent, though many are not heard." Work to change that. CESP is where people go to make change. We are living in unprecedented times, and I know that that has impacted our community so greatly. In our research, in our communities and identities, and I know that so many of you have fought for what's right, and that has not necessarily been received favorably by those in power. I don't know what exactly is ahead, but I know CESP and my loved ones have taught me to be firm in who I am and fight for the causes that I care for. This is organizational change. This is social policy. To help and educate others, this is human development. This is learning sciences. This is education. We educate, not just with one voice, but with the perspectives of many identities and many communities. We need diverse voices. We need Indigenous voices, Black voices, Asian, Arab, Latinx, Jewish, low-income, disabled, lesbian, gay, bisexual, but especially in this current moment, transgender voices. We need the voices of those who are facing the risk of their visas being revoked, those who are facing the risk of being deported or held in detention facilities by ICE, immigrants, children being taken from their families, their homes, and students who have similarly been detained. Student activists who have voiced perspectives that are not approved of, those who have spoken out about the atrocities occurring in Palestine. Our struggle for civil liberties are not separated. We are currently experiencing a collective attack on diversity, free speech, and higher education. But there is always hope. There is always resistance when we need it most. We lean on each other. We protect each other and uplift each other when we need it. Maintain your empathy and speak up even when your voice shakes. No person, no statement, no order can take away community. I don't know what's ahead, but I know meeting this community that some of it is good. Thank you.